Good afternoon, everyone. David Paul speaking. It's 3:15 UK time on the 5th of June, just after the American non-farm payroll report, which came in much better than anybody suspected. And it was, in fact, well discounted in the overnight market, and the Dow, in fact, opened up nearly 700 points higher than yesterday's close. The S&P 500 up 65 points at 3178 as I speak. As you can see, the trends on VectorVest are strongly positive, the advances hugely outnumbering the declines, and green lights everywhere. So the trend is overbought. It is mature, but nevertheless it's going great guns. There's no sign of even the shortest term signal in VectorVest signaling the end of this trend. So I personally am trying to be strong and enjoy the ride. I'm very wary that the trend is mature, but nevertheless I'm doing my best to grit my teeth and enjoy the ride. So let's have a look at the VectorVest composite itself. There's the composite of the US market, and as you can see, both the MTI and the buy-sell ratio on levels, especially the buy-sell ratio, on levels that I haven't seen before. Nevertheless, the price is rising and the MTI is rising. There's no divergence here, and frequently at the end of a run we'll see the price rising but the MTI falling, and there's no sign of that yet at all. So an overbought market, but nevertheless the trend very strong, and a big strong gap up today after that news. This is an example of the divergence at the end of the last uptrend. As you can see, the price advanced but the MTI fell. That would be a very strong signal that this is over. Nevertheless, I put on the DEW signals I'm using for my own trading. The last up signal was on the 6th of April. That was a difficult signal to take, but the good trade is always the hard trade. When you feel like buying, when it's time to buy, you won't feel like it. And similarly, when it's time to sell up there, you won't feel like it. So, but at the moment, no signals are around at all. I haven't been as active in the US as I would have liked, but nevertheless, I have these positions running. Lululemon has been great. Dollar General Brigade. I'm waiting for a breakout in AMD. Microsoft is going well. I'm very proud of this trade in TTD, and it looks as if it can move strongly from here. And again, I've got my bars, as you know, but it pulled back and took out this last low, and I bought into it slightly around 300, and it's moved to 350. Long may it last. I think if we can get above these highs today after that one day down yesterday, then we can move very strongly in this share. So I think there's legs in TTD as long as this huge trend that we've got keeps going. I think there's also lots of legs in Microsoft. Let's come across the pond and have a look at the UK. Well, the UK, as you can see, the buys hugely outnumbering the sells, and the buy-sell ratio again in territories that I haven't seen for a long time, if ever, in the UK. 7 times more shares on a buy than on a sell recommendation. The MTI is at 1.76, and every measure of the trend on VectorVest is up. And the last time, this was last night's close, Thursday night's close, but last time I looked at the FTSE, it was well up on the day. So if I have a look at the shares that I'm holding, I had to stop out of Polymetal because it had pulled back on me, and it didn't quite hit my stop loss, but I felt, and I've been talking about this in the Q&A sessions on Monday afternoon, but I felt that gold is due for a pullback. Those of you that are in gold shares, I think that the longer term trend in gold is still strong, but nevertheless it could pull back, and it could pull back maybe quite a bit further. So I got out of Polymetal during the course of the week, and I'm holding the rest of the shares. They're all doing well. The one share that I bought into during the course of the week was BH Macro, and I think I've got it open. There we are. That's BH Macro. So if we go back, I've got volume on here. Let me take that all off. If we look at this over 5 years, and that'll default to a weekly chart, we can see this huge step up in earnings it is a trust. It's a long short fund. As you can see, it didn't pull back much in February at all because of the nature of its business. I like the way that, as you can see, that resistance became support, and in this case this resistance also became support. Why did I buy into it when it's so extended? Well, first of all, there's the earnings per share, and I want to put on our valuation. There's our valuation up here, so it's trading at 3.4. We believe it's worth 5. The fundamentals on VectorVest are exceptionally good. So if I get rid of the value, I can see that what's happened here is that this share has pulled back to this last old top, and it's pulled back in a pattern that technicians refer to as a bull flag, and I like the look of that. But volume's really important in my book, and as you can see, as it was rising here, lots of volume piling into it, well ahead of that upgrade in earnings, and somebody got a sniff of that, and then it goes sideways and volume's okay, and then as it pushes up again, volume rises. So strong accumulation in this last little push to that top. Good accumulation. As it's pulling back over the last 2 weeks odd, volume in fact relatively low. So I would expect this thing to push up if the general market keeps going, and certainly if it can break this top trend line, then it can move quite strongly indeed. So I bought a few of those this week. If we go back and have a look, we can see that on this share it's undervalued. It's got an RV of 1.46, which on a scale between 0 and 2 is excellent. It's got a relative safety of 1.24 should I say, which is good. It's got a relative timing, a measure of the short-term trend at 1.42. The master indicator VST is 1.37, and the CI is a very respectable 1.26. It's on a buy, and VectorVest reckon it's going to grow earnings next year at 20%. So fundamentals exceptionally good, and the technical position good, and the little cherry on top was that little bull flag that I noticed during the course of the week. Very happy with all the positions. Sorry I had to get out of polymetal, but and when I mentioned something about gold, that gold might go down, I know the gold bulls get terribly upset, but I've been trading gold shares for a very long time, over 30 years, and I assure you that if your risk management is not good in them, they can give you one hell of a bloody nose. So out of gold, I've no doubt that I'll be getting back into it relatively soon, maybe 3-4 weeks time. Very happy with the positions. Markets on both sides of the Atlantic are very overbought. The trends are mature, nevertheless the trends are strong, and I intend to enjoy the ride and watch carefully. As long as we don't print a DEW sell signal on any of the markets, I'm going to do my best to hold these positions, and it's been an exceptionally good campaign. I look forward to seeing all the UK people on Monday afternoon at 1:30, where we'll discuss all of this in great detail. Thanks very much.